Well, good evening, party people. It's about 10:08. About 10:08. It's 10:08 on 6:30. Um, let's see. I know it's been a while since I've posted a blog, uh, or vlog, whatever you want to call it. I wanted to give you some updates and take you through my chemo process. So we know that I had started on a clinical trial with my chemo, and it was working really well. And then I got that crazy pneumonia and ended up in the hospital forever. And when I got out, I had missed too many treatments for the study on me to be accurate. So they had to kick me off the clinical trial. So we tried a new chemo called Doxil, and it was supposed to be a once a month thing. And I took it, and it was 2 weeks later, I started having some really intense pain. So we went to the doctor, and he tested what's called my tumor markers, and I guess that refers to an active protein on the tumors themselves. Um, and so if there's a lot of activity with that protein, that means the tumors are growing, or there's a lot of activity going on there. Um, so my tumor markers went from a 70 to a 170 in 2 weeks. No bueno. So we stopped that and wanted to put me on a new chemo called uh, Halavan. Now, I wanted to start this as quickly as possible because I am indeed in probably some of the worst pain I've ever been in my life. Um, and what happens is that the doctor has to put in a request to the drug company to get approval to use the drug through Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is my insurance carrier. And then the drug company has to send that approval to Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then Blue Cross Blue Shield can either approve or deny the request from the drug company. The drug company was dragging their feet, and I must give credit to Blue Cross Blue Shield. I have a great contact over there for my particular situation, and she just got on it and got me approved. So that was Friday, and on Monday I got my first treatment of chemo. Uh, the chemo schedule now is I have chemo, and then a week later I have another treatment of chemo, and then I take a week off, and then I go back and see the doctor, and we see where my tumors stand. So I haven't had my second treatment in this, what they call a cycle yet, as I just had the chemo on Monday. So I'll go back on Tuesday because of 4th of July, and we'll have another treatment. In the meantime, I have had pain like probably I've never experienced before in my life. And I'm really kind of over it. No person was meant to live in this kind of pain, and it's making me very negative. And just in my head, like I don't want to act negative to everybody else because it's not their fault I have cancer. It's not their fault I have this giant moon face. It's it's the drugs I'm taking and the situation I'm in. So I'm trying not to take it out on other people, but you can only be in pain for so long before you just start to lose it. Your brain wants to disconnect from your body so it doesn't have to feel what's going on. And I'm kind of losing it. But the doctor says the side effects for this new chemo kind of come on slow, which I'm appreciative of because they don't sound wonderful. I think the first side effect was general feeling of unwell. Thanks for that. like flu-type symptoms and whatnot. And pain in my joints and muscles, fever, and I'm not supposed to take anything for it. I'm supposed to go immediately to my oncologist so that they can decide whether or not the fever and the pain and aches are from side effects from the chemo or from actually having the flu. And then there's a whole litany of other things that nausea, vomiting, although, you can take drugs for that. Mouth sores, that's my favorite. I love the mouth sores. It's like having one giant canker sore all over your mouth. And, but we'll see. Some people don't get every single side effect, and actually most people don't get every single side effect. And, we just have to wait and see what's going to happen. I'm really hopeful. The FDA approved this in the United States 6 months ago, and one of the nurses at my doctor's office, the research nurse, worked with this on its clinical trial in the United States, and she said that people have had really great luck with it. So I'm hopeful of that because I really want to get better. I really do. And, that's what's going on with my chemo. Other things are going on too. I'm on long-term disability from my employer, and then found out that they're absorbing my job into a centralized location. So I no longer have a job, but I'm still on long-term disability. They can't terminate my long-term disability. The problem with that is that I only get a certain amount of insurance. I can be on long-term disability for 27 years, but I can only have insurance through COBRA, which is what they put you on while you're on long-term disability, for 3, which is a blessing because most companies and the state law only require any corporation or company to provide you with 18 months. So I'm grateful beyond words for 3 years of insurance because it includes my whole family, as I am the only one who has insurance offered through their company, their employer. Because we wouldn't be able to do it at all unless Regions was picking up half that tab. And so I appreciate Regions for doing that for me, for all their employees. I had an interesting situation the other night. My blood is not clotting at all. I take anticoagulants because I have a Metaport, which helps administer my chemotherapy more effectively, and my veins are gnarly shot. They roll and move, and it's safer for me to administer. It's like a catheter that goes directly to your heart, so it pushes the drug through your body more quickly and more effectively. But at the same time, I've had clots in Metaports before. I've had clots in this Metaport while I was in the hospital with my pneumonia. And so I'm taking a full therapeutic dose of my anticoagulants. And the other day, something was poking me in my chest, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I looked at the underside of my pajama top, and there was like this thick patch of dried blood. And then I looked down at my chest. It was like my Metaport had exploded. It was all dried, so I was just going to go in and clean it. Well, that kind of freaked me out because I've had 3 Metaports now, and that's never happened before. So I called the on-call doctor. It was 9 o'clock at night on Tuesday. And he said, okay, stop cleaning it because whatever was dried there had stopped any bleeding. As soon as he said that, I wiped it with a washcloth and ploop, there it was bleeding again. So I put some pressure on it for like a half an hour and got the bleeding to stop, taped it up, Didn't have to end up at the emergency room or anything, and then went to the doctor the next day. My proton count, I think that's what they said, was so high, which means my blood is very, very thin, that it didn't even register on the meters. So they stuck my fingers like they do when you have diabetes, when you're testing your blood sugar, and it just wouldn't register. You kept getting an error message. So, usually that instantly closes up. There's no bleeding. You take a drop of blood and it's done. Okay, my two fingers bled one until 8 and the other one until 10 o'clock Wednesday night. Yeah, last night. That was pretty. That was not. It was not pleasant. But by this morning, everything had pretty much clotted, and I was able to take a shower. And my Metaport's not bleeding anymore, thank goodness. So what they did was they told me to stop taking my anticoagulant and take vitamin K. So I do that for 2 days in a row, and we go back to see the doctor tomorrow. And hopefully my proton count will be fine, my platelet count will be up, and my proton count will be down, and my blood won't be like water. They even had they drew blood and put it in a centrifuge. Wouldn't register. The machines couldn't read my blood. It's just like water running through my veins, and which is weird because my blood pressure is fine. Strange, only to me. Anyway, I wanted to keep you guys abreast of what was going on, and I've been kind of freaked out with all the pain I've been in and the amount of times I've had to change my chemo and stuff at work, and I wanted to kind of sit and collect my thoughts before I talk to y'all about it, that's all. And I know this is a super long vlog for me, and I will let you guys marinate on that for a while. I'll keep you posted, let you know what's going on with the non-clotting blood. And y'all have a good night.